Oh, goodness gracious, the weather itself is a lot hotter than I was expecting, but anywho, hey, what's up ladies and gentlemen, I am the one and only Mega Man here, and once again, welcome to you guys back for more of the Forms of the Mexi Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for the continuation of the Forms of the Mega Man Marathon 2. So remember how yesterday, that recently, Mighty the Armadillo has recently finished up with the Forms of the Grand Finale in terms of the Forms of the Mega Man games on the Game Boy. That will have to be by the Forms of Mega Man 5. And overall, he really do enjoy that particular title, especially noticeable because obviously Mega Man 5 for the Game Boy was actually very unique in comparison to other games in the series, including the Game Boy series for that matter. So as a result though, he did have a really great time playing the game, despite the fact that he has to replay through several levels from grabbing all these crystals, but regardless of such though, it might be a bit optional, I will say this right now, but I'm sure that Mighty the Armadillo has already mentioned about that specific topic ever since 2 days ago, kind of think about it. So, today, we are now going to be able to hop onto the different systems when it comes to the Mega Man games themselves. So of course, to begin with, let's hit into the Forms of the Japanese exclusive device, which appears to be the Bandai WonderSwan. So yeah, for those if you ever seen Klonoa Moonlight Museum, then you know exactly what the actual Bandai WonderSwan looks like. You're obviously able to actually hold the device as in horizontal or vertical on different segments. So for this particular reason, we decided to let Tiana tackle for the second game when it comes to the Bandai WonderSwan game playthrough. So best of luck for her, especially noticeable after doing for this whole entire process. So yeah, let's get into Mega Man and Bass, Challenger from the Future. So let's get on with this. Greetings ladies and gentlemen, I am the one and only Tiana here once again, and I am from the likes of the Mexi Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll present to you our next installment in terms of the Forms of the Mega Man Marathon 2 selections of Let's Plays. And in today's case, we got ourselves the only installment for the Mega Man games to be released on a Japanese exclusive Bandai WonderSwan game. So as a result though, here we are on to Mega Man and Bass sequel, known as Mega Man and Bass Challenger from the Future, according to the actual the Wikipedia, or someone already done the actual fan translation from the actual mod or something like that. But unfortunately though, as you can clearly see on screen, everything else is in Japanese, but allow me to give me some, summarize of what the plot is all about. Once again, the actual city has been attacked, but this time around though with a different robot masters, and someone feels like an echo version of Mega Man himself. Or to be more specifically, like, let's just say, the shadow version of Mega Man or something like that. But either way though, it knows what I can usually describe about it. So, yeah, obviously, as soon as when the city is about to attack once again, and it looks like it's up to Mega Man and Proto Man, or should I say Bass, because I don't think Proto Man is going to be making his appearance on this, because I keep thinking about the first game, so because obviously this is a sequel to, Mega Man and Bass originally came out on the Super Famicom, or Super Nintendo if you lived in an English version, so because of this though, or for the Game Boy Advance, for that matter, so yeah, it's up to Mega Man and Bass once again temporarily team up together to stop the evil version of Mega Man. So, although the plots might be a little bit different, and thus it almost kind of reminds me of, other plots like, Sonic Adventure 2 or something like that, when Shadow was firstly introduced and he's been sided with Dr. Eggman. So as a result though, but either way though, it's kind of hard to explain. So yeah, similar to the forms of how it does it in Mega Man and Bass for the Super Famicom, basically you were able to actually once again play as either Mega Man or Bass. So if you're following for our Let's Play of the game on the first game in the series, or should I say the first game of Mega Man and Bass, back in the forms of in 2018, then you do realize about the fact that Buttercup, that she did manage to able to choose Bass first and then Mega Man for last, back on the forms of in the first game. However though, for the sake of this particular installment, I'm actually going to be doing the opposite direction. Like this time, I'm going to be able to actually start the game off with Mega Man himself this time around. So yeah, because obviously just have some different variety for a change, especially noticeable because we just don't feel like trying to do the exact same order again. So yeah, you probably this is how it usually goes. So, and obviously, if you couldn't tell already, I'm going to be playing this on the emulator, just like in the forms of how it does it in our Let's Play of Klonoa Moonlight's Museum back in the forms of in 2020. So because of this though, and on top of all that stuff though, this is my second time going on to the Bandai WonderSwan after the events of, like I said, Klonoa Moonlight's Museum, because that was actually the first ever Let's Play I actually did for the sake of the forms of that particular device alone. So that what appears to be, of course, the Bandai WonderSwan. Mind you, I was expecting to be able to actually try to find something related to the color game, but unfortunately though, I have no luck trying to find my interest, so oh well, no big deal. But at the very least, we're gonna have to still stuck with the forms of the black and white color display, just like in the forms of how it does it on Mega Man Dr. Wily's Revenge, Mega Man 2, 3, and 4 on the Game Boy, except 5, because usually Mighty just managed able to do a bit of a cool color effect based off from the Super Game Boy accessory for the Super Nintendo anyway. So yeah, that's how it goes basically. So yeah, as you can see, that this is how the gameplay looks for the likes of the forms of Mega Man and Bass. Challenging from the future, what it looks like. Basically, if you ever played Mega Man 8, or to be more specifically, Mega Man and Bass before, basically you're still able to retain yourselves the forms of not only the Mega Buster, but also the Slide and Charge Mega Buster. So nothing different from there, except that the fact that, I don't know if it's just me, but I'm pretty sure about the fact that the Mega Man's model seems a little bit weird in this game. I'm not exactly sure how that is though, mainly it's because I'm more accustomed to the forms of the actual classic sprite, based off from the forms of the older games, especially noticeable with the forms of the highly production values for the sake of the forms of Mega Man 8, and especially noticeable with the forms of Mega Man and Bass for the Super Nintendo or Game Boy Advance. So as a result though, yeah, it just looks weird from the likes of the actual, like, when he walks, or especially noticeable where he stands, and also jumping as well, but I'm sure I'll try to get used to it. So obviously the main objective remains the same, except the fact that the biggest difference is this time, although I'll explain more details about that in a moment, because here we have the first boss in the game, known as the Grey Devil. Okay, seems a little bit different than the forms of how it does it on any other Devils in any other Mega Man games, like usually Yellow Devil, Green Devil, and also Dark Moon from the likes of the forms of Mega Man 5 for the Game Boy, and now we have the Grey Devil, although that was before when Mega Man X5 managed to able to have themselves, I would say like Black Devil, which, holy Christ, whenever I've seen the actual reviews, or should I say the actual playthroughs of Mega Man X5, when they come across into the forms of that particular Black Devil boss fight, although I'm probably not going to get into more details about that because we are playing this at the moment. So yeah, basically this is one of the first ever bosses in the game, and as a result though, he can be pretty easy, but at the same time, I will have to admit it though right away, is the fact that I found this particular boss a bit difficult at times, especially noticeable that, well, the actual boss fight itself wasn't all that hard or too bad or anything like that, but it's just the fact that the hardest part about this is sometimes though, is that whenever he sends out the forms of that projectiles, to be more specifically 3 of them, and then if you manage to get involved with that particular gooby stuff, you'll be able to get stuck and able to actually get hurt at the same time. So in order to able to get out of this though, you have to use the Mega Buster in order to break free. So as a result though, that could be a huge emphasis on the forms of some bit of trial and error situations. So, and after the intro stage is done, then basically it looks like Mega Man and also the echo version of Mega Man just having a conversation of what's going on, despite the fact that every single text is in Japanese, so I don't know if I can usually translate those. So, unfortunately though, I was expecting if I was trying to get the translated version, but oh well, no big deal. So, after the intro stage has been done, you're able to actually access to, once again, just like the forms of how it doesn't on any Game Boy Mega Man games up to this point, basically we have ourselves 4 Robot Masters to tackle. And as you can tell, the first ever Robot Master we're going to be taking on for this point, that's what appears to be Aircon Man. And as you can see, similar to the forms of how it doesn't in my Let's Play of Klonoa Moonlight Museum, sometimes though is the fact that I think this is the only SSS about the forms of this entire playthrough. I will say this right about now, because unlike any forms of how it doesn't on Klonoa Moonlight Museum, that there are a multitude of levels that sometimes you're gonna have to able to switch between vertical screen and horizontal screen, whilst in this game specifically, there's only one in particular stage where it comes to utilizing the forms of the vertical screen, which as you can see, that because I did manage to able to find the easiest method to able to actually just try to do this setup, so this means about the fact that, and also I'm gonna have to able to use my DualShock 4 controller this time, because that way I can able to actually find the game easier to control rather than just trying to utilizing the keyboard, so I'm at very least respected that. So yeah, because as a result though, that's this might actually took me a lot of edits to do for not only for certain scenes for, you know, horizontal, you know, placements, but also vertical, you know, segments as well. So, oh jeez, a lot of spikes there with a massive drop. So, yeah, if we somehow die, then we have to able to start all over for this entire level again. So, yeah, because as a result though, oh yeah, and by the way, similar to the forms of how it does it on Mega Man 7 and Mega Man 8 and Mega Man and Bass, basically though, there are some screws you can able to pick up, which I think it'll function the same way as the forms of how it does it in both Mega Man 7 and Mega Man and Bass, except Mega Man 8, because there was only 40 of them in that game, so... And of course, every once in a while, there are mini boss fights to able to fight against, so nothing different from there, except the fact that, well, this game offers us a utilizing the forms of, you know, different screen positions. So in this case, though, we're actually going to be doing the mini boss, while simply able to actually utilizing the forms of the vertical screen. So this also means that the controls has been slightly changed a little bit. So because of this, though, it might take me a while to get used to, especially noticeable after this very simple controls from the likes of the forms of how it does it on the previous Mega Man games, to be more specifically with the NES installments and Mega Man 7 and Mega Man 8, and especially noticeable with the Game Boy games as well. But you probably get the gist of how this is going, so... Yeah, basically in this mini fight right here is the fact that we need to use the Mega Buster, and you know with these enemies that we just managed able to keep on going from left or right, we need to able to keep on using the Mega Buster or the charged up Mega Buster until you're able to actually shoot at the actual helmets, so that way it can actually able to reflect on that particular mini boss, as you can probably tell from the damage input. So yeah, you probably get the gist of it. So alright, so just got to be very careful not able to screw this up. I believe I got the checkpoint after the mini-boss fight has ended, so yeah, at least I'm guessing so anyway, so... Alright, so we're just gonna have to be very careful not to able to touch the spikes, and also, you know with that particular inflatable enemy that we're using on? Well, we don't want to make sure that we don't want to able to actually let him get burst from those particular spikes, as you can clearly see on screen. So, yeah, you probably get the gist of it, so... So yeah, with those screws, much like the forms of how it does it on Mega Man 7, and especially noticeable with Mega Man 8, and Mega Man and Bass, and even before, you know, Mega Man 9, and Mega Man 10, and Mega Man 11 roll around, that basically though is the fact that we can able to actually use the screws to able to actually buy something in the shop, which in order to do that though, basically though is the fact that we need to select the Dr. Light's lab, which I almost first thought it was actually Auto, but I think Otto was actually now the host of the pausing menu, so... A bit different, but at least it's something, I guess, so... Alright, so... Oop, okay, there we go. That was pretty close, because I really really refused able to actually go for that particular segment again. So, of course, unfortunately though, much like the forms of the original Mega Man and base, every time you die or something like that, or when you try to able to do it with a Robot Master or something like that, I need to take the invincibility frames because, voila, secret area, which also means I'm also able to pick up that health pickup while carefully sliding through those spikes, because if I somehow dare touch those spikes, I will instantly die. So yeah, I just have to able to watch out for those specific stuff. And I believe after this particular screen though, well, before I get into this next screen transition, I need to grab that screw bolt. So either way though, after that though, we immediately going back onto the horizontal you know, screen position. So at the very least, voila, much better. So, and I think that's what usually happens if we manage able to go into the later levels. So, anyways, let's go ahead and take on the forms of the first ever Robot Master in Mega Man and Base, Challenger from the future. So in this case though, we have, well, Aircon. And he got his weapon by the forms of, I would say, Barrier Wind, if I recall correctly. So, yeah, it can be pretty easy though, but we'll have to admit though, sometimes certain bosses can take absolute forever to kill. So as a result though, and unfortunately though, I believe this game once again does not have energy tanks, just like in Mega Man 8 and the original Mega Man and Base for that matter. So, kind of, you know, underwhelming to say the least, but regardless of such though, we'll have to deal with it, I'm afraid. So, because I'm pretty sure that, how the hell did I kill right there? I was trying to avoid that rock, but apparently the game's telling me that apparently I got crushed, which, that doesn't make that much sense to me, wasn't it? Oh well, we'll just try again, so hopefully for a successful attempt. So yeah, that was my first step of the playthrough, so to be expected, so that seems sucks, but oh well. But I'm guessing those rocks were able to actually just decide to hurt me if I jump onto them or something, I have no idea. So, yeah, and thankfully though, unlike the original Mega Man and Base, where certain levels can go by a lot longer than I was expecting, whilst in here though, thankfully this game is going to be super short. So because of this though, despite the fact that I have to deal with the actual game within 2 playthroughs, so in this case though, like I said, I'll go for the Mega Man playthrough, and after that though, we'll hit on to the Bases playthrough, because I get a strong sense of feeling that the actual difficulty between Mega Man and Base in this game is actually a bit opposite. Like, I believe Mega Man might be the best player to use, in my opinion, although as far as Base is concerned, oh god, I have a lot of horrible flashbacks whenever I saw that coming. But either way though, despite the fact that this is my first time playing this game, so to be expected by this point, because I haven't exactly known this game existence up until whenever I did manage to able to done a massive research on you know, the rest of the Mega Man games for that matter, but it turns out that this game exists on the likes of the Bandai WonderSwan with the lack of the backlit screen. Although, thankfully though, if you manage to order yourself Swan Crystal, thankfully you can able to actually get yourselves the backlit light. So because of this though, unlike the regular model for the likes of the likes of the Bandai WonderSwan, including the color version, basically though, is the fact that unfortunately you have to stick around with the forms of the lack of backlit screen. So, oh jeez, this boss took absolute forever to able to actually just keep hitting on him. I know for the fact that it does have a lot of defense or something like that, even whenever he decides to able to stand on a platform or something, but I honestly have no idea how I'm supposed to able to deal the damage on him. Although, mind you, about the fact that if we get to base though, then hopefully we can easily manage to able to take him down with like no sweat whatsoever, despite I just keep on getting hit most of the time with all this. Some random stuff is about to be coming and all that stuff though, but it knows what it is, so. Oh yeah, I should probably mention about this actually while this is going. Recently today it's the forms of the 17th of August today, in this case in 2022 today. So it looks like it's the moment of truth for today, for those of you who lived in the UK, is that yes, New Super Mario Bros. 2 has officially now become a decade old, for the likes of the UK version. So yeah, I can't believe that game is now a decade old now. So yeah, and what if I managed to look back on the game after 10 years since when it first released, It was okay. I mean, sure, it's not my favorite Mario game, but at least it's a good one. But it's not the best though, mainly because of the lack of difficulty, and especially noticeable with the lack of originality here and there. But because of such though, I think you should still recommend getting the game, despite the fact that, well, unfortunately though, if you miss out on that game, especially noticeable if you guys have not owned the 3DS at that point in time, unfortunately though, then until 12 days time, it'll be useless about the fact that we can no longer get DLC. Well, I still managed to get DLC, so good thing I did manage to get that before that stupid closure thing actually exists, so... Oh well, no big deal, but at the very least on the upside is though, is the fact that we actually got ourselves our weapon with us, such as Barrier Wind. So that way we can able to actually just to get rid of enemies in a bit of a further distant shot, so that's at least a good thing, so... And I've no idea why that Dr. Wily, or no, Dr. Light, he just somehow managed able to smoke the actual smoke pipe. So, again, that's only because it was only exclusive in Japan. So I'm not exactly sure if they managed to get rid of it in the English version, because the English version does not exist at all. So, unless if you want to count the forms of the emulation translation mod. So... Anyways, enough about that, and that's what you're able to actually find the item shop, by the way. Just head to the Dr. Light's lab, and then that way you can buy all sorts of items here and there, which I think I'll mention more about it until whenever we get to the next stage, because for now, here we go, on to the forms of the next stage in the game, which appears to be by the forms of... Well, if I can able to actually do a massive research on it, despite the fact that I didn't pay attention to the actual, the intro screen whatsoever, so because of this, here we have the forms of Dangan Man. So it kind of feels like a missile kind of, robot master, I say. So, yeah, kind of interesting, I have to say. So, anywho, so, because that also applies on the forms of another one of those DLCs is no longer going to be available during at some point by the end of this month. It'll be Mario Golf World Tour, which is kind of sad because I know for the fact that, well, a lot of people seem to be able to really enjoy, you know, Mario Golf World Tour because of the forms of, you know, DLC have been added ages ago, like you able to have Rosalina, Toadette, and also Nabbit, and especially noticeable with Gold Mario, so yeah, it seems very interesting back in the day, so yeah, it seems kind of sucks to able to actually just you know, let it go and stuff like that, which I know seems kind of sucks and stupid, honestly, so but I digress. So we need to able to take down, isn't that the robot that looks kind of similar to Mega Man X, isn't it? Well, except the fact that we're actually going to be doing with classic Mega Man's movesets, so... At the very least, that's that, I guess. So, anyways, let's go ahead and move along, and then just try to use those rocks as platforms, and... Oh, jeez, that was really close, but, just gonna have to make sure I don't need to able to actually just to... Well, you know, die too many times, because, well, just like in Mega Man and Base, the original game, this game can get nerve-wrackingly difficult at points. Although, to be fair, it wasn't nearly as difficult as I thought it was, because although the only time is a bit difficult though is the certain platforming segments, and every once in a while though there's going to be some very, very stingy platforming here and there, but as a result though, and also certain enemy encounters here and there as well, but it knows what it is when it comes to classic Mega Man games alike, where you know, with difficulty challenge is always comes into play, so yeah, you probably expect it by this point, so... Anyway, so... What's up with these little cube-like enemies like these? I have never seen like those before. Well, mind you, because this game to me, though, feels a bit bizarre at points, but either way, though, we'll just go ahead and, try to able to stand here, just wait for a moment, make sure we don't get ourselves a massive, massive knockback with all that cube-like enemies here and there, but still. Oh boy, this section right here, I'm gonna have to... Not able to get hit so many times with all that falling, you know, falling platforms from the ceiling, so... But at the very least we did manage able to pass certain segments, but... Still, it's kind of unexcusable about the fact that sometimes, if I was going to able to destroy these kinds of platforms up ceiling, but most of the time though, it's just the fact that it feels a bit like, I feel like that most of the objects, even for certain enemy encounters, has more defense than I have, so, Yeah, that's a little bit stingy on my part, but either way though, let's just go ahead and continue things on. Now I do apologize for that particular noise in the background for about a few seconds ago. That's only mainly because there's quite a few airplanes to be flying around, because to be expected with all that summer and stuff like that, so I could possibly understand that, so... Anyway, so I think we've almost nearly at the end now. It's just the fact that, well, after dealing with this cube-like objects or cube-like enemies, and on top of all that stuff though, there's an extra life down there too. So I don't know how do I exactly try to able to obtain those, but either way though, I suppose I should probably able to show you guys. Actually, I think I might as well skip it. I know I wasn't expecting to able to obtain that, but unfortunately though, we're just gonna have to move on, so... Anyways, let's go ahead and take on the forms of Dangan Man. So in this case though, we'll bring ourselves the Barrier Wind, because that is actually his weakness. So basically though, just keep shooting at him, and then basically, it just deals quite a bit of damage there. So yeah, basically just do that, and there he goes. I'm quite surprised that he was actually easily being taken down with that particular weapon. So, yeah, after killing him though, we were able to get ourselves the Rockin' Falcon. So, I think that's what the actual weapon itself is called anyway. So, in this case though, it's hard to able to know what my actual translates into, or maybe their pronunciation, I guess. But, either way though, we'll just go leave it to that. So, anyways, so 2 Robot Masters are down, and only 2 more to go before we're able to progress. So... I think, suffice to say, we'll move on to this Robot Master right there, which is called Kongro Man. Bit of a weird name, doesn't it? Especially noticeable about the fact that I'm presuming those names are actually related to Japanese names or something like that. I'm not exactly sure what the English version translates to, but I've honestly have no words able to actually just trying to search for it, so... Anyway, so, yeah, with those items for the likes of the forms of the Dr. Light's lab, for the actual item shop, or should I say Dr. Wright for some reason, as opposed to Dr. Light, so I honestly have no idea why, that, I almost first thought that was Dr. Light, because obviously, come on, it is Dr. Light, of course. So anyway, for the items you get, although much like the forms of how it does it in Mega Man and Base, that some of those items are usually only exclusive to, well, it might be available for both of those playable characters. However, there are some items that are only exclusive to either Mega Man or Base. So even then though, certain items you get like a spare body, which obviously gives you an extra life, and there's also exit parts, which allows you to able to actually just to exit the stage if you already completed it, so you can actually exit out the stage at any time. And there's also energy balancer, and there's also weapon charge, and also energy saver, and there's also super recovery, and also item presenter, and also we have shark guard, which actually allows you to able to get protected by spikes. And also we have super armor, just like the forms of how it does it on Mega Man 8, that allows you to able to reduce the damage. So I guess that's a pretty handy item. But the problem with that is the fact that those items, as I mentioned earlier, are disgustingly expensive. And in order to able to get those items though, you must be sure you need to grind, I mean grinding, more of those specific little screw bolts. And because of that though, if you collected more enough of them, then you would able to get the opportunity that you can able to actually buy one of those items. But it's just kind of a shame about the fact that most of those items are really expensive for some reason. But either way though, it knows what it is, so yeah, that's as far as I can usually think about it. And shut up, birds! I'm trying to record here! Ay ay ay, those birds, man. So anyway, well, nothing related to you, Blue or Jewel, but just those birds screaming outside, just like, I know for the fact that because of how the fact I have to open my window open for the entire day, just because, like I said, that it was actually super hot today for the sake of the forms of the heat wave and everything, so... But regardless, we're almost nearly at the end of summer before we move on to autumn, so... Oh, jeez Louise, those fire hydrant kind of enemies, they kind of felt a bit I don't know about you, unpredictable at times. Well, that's only mainly because I wasn't expecting if I was trying to able to avoid them like these. But, actually, gonna think about it. Is it possible I can able to actually use... Nah, I can't use it just on here. I have to risk myself, take a hit, and grab the health pickup. But that's okay, because... Well, regardless of such though, we've already, got some bit of health there. And, hopefully we're just gonna have to continue our progressioning now. So, either way though, we'll just take the invincibility frames if we can. And, is that it? Is that the end of a level? Okay, how quick and easy and, well, kind of short, honestly. So anyways, let's take on the forms of this particular robot master right here. In this case, Konro Man. So in this case though, that he got himself the Flame Shower. And his weakness is obviously Rock and Vulcan. So in this case though, we can able to actually use that to him. Well, assuming if he now starts going to the ground as he goes along. And, I don't know if he does a bit of damage though, but let me, okay, there we go. So I think that deals quite a bit of damage as soon as he does that animation. So at the very least though, we did easily take him down like no sweat. Certainly a lot more quicker than the forms of how it does it in Aircon Man, that's for sure. So anyways, after we're done with that, we got ourselves the Flame Shower. So at the very least, we can able to actually just use that? Okay, this is all new to me and everything, so in this case though, yeah, let's go ahead and save. Yeah, just like any forms of how it does it on the original Mega Man and base game, that you do have a file selection screen, so no need for passwords or anything. So at the very least, I'm very super grateful with that. So, before we move on to the next Robot Master, let me just have a look at the forms of those items in particular. Like, I've already mentioned about the fact that there's the Energy Balancer, as well as the forms of that particular Spike-proofed item, and, I think that's as far as I can say about it. So, yeah, 200 bolts in order able to get the extra life. That's so ridiculous. So anyways, let's go and deal with the forms of the next Robot Master. We have Kusamu Man. God, so weird able to pronounce that particular Robot Master, kind of think about it. So anyways, I think this usually takes place in somewhere in the forest. So in this case though, we're able to go for that. So anyway though, another thing is worth noting for the sake of time is the fact that I think, fundamentally speaking, what's different about the forms of the previous games this time around is the fact that I'm pretty sure that if you manage to able to get extra lives, that normally in any other games that your maximum amount is actually 9. In this game specifically though, the maximum you can only get up to is 8, as opposed to its traditional 9. So, bit weird, but hey, at least it's something I guess. And unlike in any other Mega Man games up to that point, where basically once the player has beaten a stage, they may leave at will as long as they have equipped the exit option. And then, yeah, basically though is the fact that, well, I could assure you that it's hard to explain, because, like I said, I haven't exactly played this game all that much though, because, well, aside from the fact that I did manage to able to already got the exit item with me, but I can't exit this out until I complete this level, so, but I digress. And, also, is the fact that, relatively speaking, that, usually, that, for those Robot Masters in mind, that they do not have an invincibility period after being hit this time around. So I'm guessing it's like kind of easy to able to actually take them down, I suppose. So at the very least, that's something, I guess. So anyways, let's get into the forms of the other items you can get on the Dr. Light's lab, or Dr. Wright's lab for some reason on Wikipedia. So as a result though, let's start with the forms of the Mega Man's items. So you do have Rush Coil, so at the very least Rush Coil was a thing, of course, so that I believe that allows you to able to jump higher, so I'm very grateful that Rush is back again, so at the very least that's something it's usually going for. And there's also the returning Tango from the likes of the forms of Mega Man 5 for the Game Boy, which I believe that allows you to able to actually let Tango manage to able to make it its appearance, and then he somehow managed to do a bit of a roll attack, and then it attacks enemies in the process. No bosses though, sadly. And of course you get yourselves Beat the Bird, which much like the forms of how it does it on any other Mega Man games, from Mega Man 4 for the Game Boy, and same applies to the forms of Mega Man 5 for the game, for the NES to be more specifically. Because usually, relatively speaking, it allows you to be able to be invincible or something. And finally, we have Eddie, which allows you to able to let Eddie manage to appear, and then it drops one of those random items. So, at the very least, that's that. Although I'm guessing it's kind of the equivalent to the likes of the forms of how it does it in the normal version, or to be more specifically, the original Mega Man and base, even though despite the fact that I haven't touched that game for a very, very long time, for a very, very good reason. That's only mainly because I cannot for the life of me believe about the fact that the original Mega Man and base was actually one of the hardest Mega Man games I've ever played in my life. Especially noticeable how the fact that, well, if you try to able to complete a game twice within not only base, but also Mega Man as well, because, geez, that King Fortress 2 was actually the most hellish stage in the whole entire game, I will must say. But regardless of such though, good news we're not playing that game again, because obviously after the events of what Buttercup has to go through, so because of that though, yeah, let's not talk about that ever again, so... Anyway, so let's go ahead and... Oh jeez, those butterflies, they're just trying to able to get on my nerves. But anyway, let's just continue on here, and then... Oh my god, okay, I just got stuck in that particular slime, but that's okay, because we just somehow break free out of it, so... let's just go ahead and use this, just in case I need to refill that weapon energy, so at the very least that's that. Although I don't think that this game will able to actually brings us into our familiarities for any other Mega Man games for that matter, so we'll just see what happens there, until whenever we continue proceeding for this, so... Alright, so I think we've almost nearly at the end, so it's just the fact that we got a lot of, like, enemies to go through, and last few obstacles here and there, so at the very least we are essentially getting close, so... Oh, thank you for that, little, you know, health pickup. I do appreciate it. Alright, so it's have to take down this little beetle-like... Ah, jeez, I can't shoot him from... Come on, die, thank you. Hi. I think that particular weapon energy just somehow disappears, but oh well, no big deal. No big deal, but the very least on the upside is though is the fact that we've got 4 extra lives at the moment, or technically, like, I don't know, 5 or something? I have no idea. That's only mainly because I haven't exactly watched this particular Let's Play of this game as much as the forms of the classic games, I'm pretty sure, but you know what I'm gonna talk about, but anyway. Oh jeez, those projectiles just always gets to me. Alright, so this where things gets a bit picky with those jumps, but that's okay, because we have made it to the very end of the stage. So anyways, let's go and take on this Robot Master now. So in this case though, yeah, let's go and get to it. So, I think he does like a double team kind of syndrome, and then basically though is the fact that we need to basically just attack him. Well, we can't attack him right now because we need to equip the Flame Shower, so just in case we can able to actually just deal with his weakness. So, is he ever gonna done with this? Or maybe not, so either way though. So after that particular attack is finished, you're just able to boot him! Come on! Oh jeez, he's packing a punch. Although mind you, he doesn't do anything at all. He just stands there, just using a flute or anything, and he's done. He's done. He's toast. Wow. What a lackluster challenge that is. Wow, despite I get hit by his flames so many times, but regardless of such though, what a joke. Anyway, so now we got ourselves the Durable Crash, which I think it's like the equivalent to like a dash kind of attack. But either way though, at the very least we got that, I guess. So anyway, so now we actually got ourselves 4 weapons with us, and after when we beat 4 Robot Masters, we were able to actually access to the 5th stage. So, or should I say the 6th stage, kind of think about it though, because either way though, yeah, because as a result though, no matter what though, I'll buy the, I don't know, an energy balancer or energy saver. I can't really tell what these items are because everything else is in Japanese, but I'll look it up at some point. So, anyway, so with that being said though, we'll go ahead and ending stuff at this point right here. So join me next time for more of Let's Play of Mega Man and Base, Challenger from the future, from the Bandai WonderSwan. That is the fact that we're going to be taking on these 2 robots apparently. These are known as Clock Men. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Later fellas.